I would call to order the regular meeting of the Village of Westmont Planning and Zoning Commission for this day, Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. May we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Donahue?
Here.
Commissioner Simpson?
Here.
Commissioner Peterson's here. Commissioner Lynn?
Here.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Chairperson Carmichael?
Here. We have a quorum. Everyone join me in standing and pledging allegiance to the United States. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And while everybody's standing, anyone who comes to the podium and testifies has to be sworn in. So please raise your right hand and swear that any and all testimony you provide will be the complete truth. Thank you. Now, before we really get started, I'd like to swear in our new member, Dan Charleston. Would you stand, please? Raise your right hand.
We need to do roll call first.
Oh, yeah.
No, we'll do roll call after we...
I thought he did roll. We did roll call.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah.
I'm the one that wrote the agenda, my bad.
I, Daniel Charleston,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will defend and support the Constitution of the United States,
I will defend and support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the laws of DuPage County,
the laws of DuPage County,
the Westmont Village Code of Ordinances,
the Westmont Village Code of Ordinances,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the Office of Commissioner of the Board, Planning and Zoning,
duties of the Office of Commissioner of the Board of Planning and Zoning
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Thank you.
Roll call again.
Yes. Roll call again, please.
Commissioner Simpson?
Here.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Peterson's here. Commissioner Lynn?
Here.
Commissioner Donahue?
Here.
Commissioner Charleston?
Here.
And Chairperson Carmichael?
Here. We have a quorum. In addition to the silencing the electronic device, I remind everyone that anyone who comes to the podium needs to sign in with their name and point of contact. Next item is approval of minutes. We have a dual approval tonight. First is the minutes of the February 4th, 2026 special meeting.
We can approve them both together.
Okay, and secondly, the approval of the minutes of the February 11th regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion Simpson?
Motion Simpson. Second O'Donoghue. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson votes yes. Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Charleston?
Abstain.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
And Chairperson Carmichael?
Yes. And for those present, I'd like to quickly review the public hearing procedures. First, we will introduce the petitioner and have him or her come forward and present their petition. Be followed by our staff comments from the village. In addition, we have the village attorney with us to keep us on the straight and narrow. Then it's the public's turn to weigh in. People could come and when you're at the podium, please address the commission, not people back in the audience. And finally, the commissioners will get to ask questions, make comments, and then we'll hopefully get to a vote. A reminder, the vote of this commission is a recommendation to the village board that has the final say-so. Our recommendation, whether it's up or down, yes or no, goes to the village board. They may or may not agree with our assessment. Okay, we have no old business, so we'll go right to new business. First is public hearing PZC 005-2026, a request from Clover's Garden Center, LLC, doing business as Clover's Garden Center, the petitioner, and Suburbanite Bowl Incorporated, and the Downers Grove National Trust, who are the owners for the properties at 201 and 209 West Ogden Avenue in Westmont, for the following. A special use permit to operate an outdoor retail sales business that is a seasonal outdoor garden center in the B2 General Business District. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm Jim from Clover's Garden Center. Thank you so much for having me here. We appreciate very much being welcomed to Westmont for the past 25 plus years. You are all fantastic, and we really appreciate being part of the community and feel as though we are certainly a part of it, so thank you. So we've been out there selling our plants in our same footprint, which we have the other special use permit for, and that will not change at all. Basically what we wanted to do was put another smaller footprint with basically the exact thing in the back of the parking lot of Suburbanite Bowl. So, we've been at Suburbanite, and they've been a great family for us to be working with. But basically, here's the existing spot, and you all have seen these documents, so kind of repeating what you've seen already. But anyway, that's the same footprint, will remain the same greenhouse, plants outside, the fence going around it. Here's the inside. Many of you have probably seen that, but it's got the shade cloth cover, so we're a little more shady. But in the back would be a 60 by 120 foot fenced area with a smaller greenhouse, 28 by 78, just on the pavement, kind of in the corner. So it's kind of tucked in the back there. You can see on this second site. Really kind of out of the way. No one ever parks back there. The nice thing that we have going with Suburbanite is we're busy when they're not. Like, they have the leagues and stuff mostly at night or in the winter, but during the day, we're not open at night, so it's a good, like, the parking lot never gets too crazy. In the back will basically be not a retail site. We're going to be using it to prepare and kind of ship some special orders we've been getting. Like, since, I don't know, for several years now, we've been selling some stuff on our website and through DoorDash and some other sites like that, Amazon, and it's becoming an increasingly, good part of our business. When it rains, it's not raining online, so we can still be selling something. And we used to get calls from people saying, "Oh, my neighbor lives down the street from you guys. Can you send us the Melrose peppers? We can't find them around here," so we'd ship them. So we have been trying to expand that. And we've basically been doing this same thing out of the existing site, but it's gotten to be a little crowded, and I don't want, it's too, like, we're dealing with that, and we're dealing with the customers in front of us, and we really want to be able to make those people feel as though they're special right next to us, so we can have this site in the back to deal with all that extra stuff. Basically, like I said, if you can see, like, in the back there's the greenhouse. We're getting our electricity, just the details of the operation, getting our electricity from the same socket, and we're going to run heavy-duty cord. And I was talking with Scott and the fire marshal about that, and he wanted to take a look at it, but it'll be not in a pedestrian space and really, safe. And the water is coming from the same place too, so that's nothing new. It'll be the same sort of fence going around it. One gate, I positioned the gate kind of towards the back, so we're in and out. We're not going to be messing with any, existing traffic for the retail space. This one we thought we'd do it March 15th through November 15th, just to kind of get started early. The weather was great the other day, and I'm like, oh, it's summer. Now it's supposed to be like 12 degrees Monday night, so we don't want to ever get started too early, but we can at least begin to set it up. Let's see, water, yep. The greenhouse is the same sort of setup. It's got 3 doors, 1 on each end and 2 on the side, and that's what is the same as the other one. You can see the window rolls up in the summertime. So that's basically open. Once the weather's nice, we just leave it open, and it's nice for airflow. The plants will be on racks and on tables, and I don't know, it's going to look like the other garden center, except not with people in it, other than some people who are helping us. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be good to, every day, we'll probably get someone, like the UPS truck will come and take something away, or DoorDash, but it's not like semis. Well, God willing, it will be, but probably semis and will not be the thing. Semis deliver the plants to us as they do already, so that would be the only change. And maybe instead of like delivering 4 racks, they'd bring us 5 or 6. So it's not a huge congestion issue or many cars or giant vehicles and stuff like that in the parking lot. But anyway, does anyone have any questions or?
Okay, thank you. Let's see if staff has some comments for us.
Thank you, Chair. So this property is actually consists of 2 properties. It's 201 and 209 West Ogden. 209 West Ogden has, 201 West Ogden has suburbanite bowling, the actual bowling alley, and accessory parking. Then 209 has just a parking lot on that piece of property. It's 2 properties under the same ownership entity. The request is from Clover's Garden Center. They started operation in Westmont in 1999 is when they got their first special use approval. And since then, they've come in a handful of times to amend the special use in various ways. It operated on a seasonal basis with review from staff or village board once a year at one point, and then it was extended to every 5 years. And the last ordinance that was approved for the special use required, if an expansion was to take place, for an amendment to be passed for the special use. Since that time, we've actually updated our zoning ordinance, and the previous special use that was authorized on the property has been recategorized in our use table, and it's now under outdoor retail instead of an open sales lot. So with this request, we've decided to have everything housed under the new zoning code regulations, so everything's under the same umbrella for an open sales lot. So I'm going to be referring to it, or not open sales lot, it's an outdoor retail, so that's what I'm going to be referring to it as here, and then ultimately have to go to the board. So the existing, as Jim mentioned, the existing Clover's area that was fenced in has been approved for quite some time. I believe they actually just received a tent permit for their existing area. They're planning on expanding it to this southwestern corner of the property by the parking lot, and we sat with Jim and the property owners to see where the best place would be on the property for what they want to do, and they've accommodated some changes to move up where this fenced area is going to be, so it doesn't interfere with any drive aisles in parking, or as little parking as possible. So with the expansion, Jim already mentioned the area is going to be 60 feet by 120 feet. It's going to be located in the southwest corner. It's going to be primarily used for holding of plants when there's large orders, and no operations for the general public would come in there. It'd be for pickup service and drop-off service for the larger orders and their online orders. The parking in particular is something we always look at with special uses. In this case, we have updated our parking regulations back in August. So the total required parking spaces for both uses on the property is 121. So that's 121 for the bowling alley, 81 for the bowling alley, and 40 for the outdoor retail. What is being provided after you discount the area being used for the outdoor retail is a total of 146 spaces. So they substantially comply with our parking regulations. So that's why we feel comfortable with operating this outdoor retail area. The other thing that Jim mentioned was that the bowling alley and the garden center operate on kind of an opposite schedule. So the leagues usually are in the evening, and then the business, the Clovers, is operating during the day for the most part. In addition, if the Planning and Zoning Commission does look to approve this new special use, the staff has provided some conditions for approval that are similar to previous conditions, but allow for a little bit more leniency than the previous approvals. So if, for example, if Jim wanted to reorganize a little bit, but keep a similar size operation happening, staff would have some more discretion to allow that rather than having them pay the fee to get an amendment and come before the commission. There's some caveats to that, like it shouldn't interfere with additional drive aisles and items like that. Additionally, we have some language that the operation is done seasonally between March 15th and November 15th. And it automatically renews every year for the special use, but it would be operating within that time frame. So if Jim wants to mention that he'd rather have it more open, or if the commission feels like we don't want to limit the seasonality of it, they have the right. You guys have the right to do so. This is just staff's recommendation on past approvals. And then one of the last conditions that we're recommending is a condition that was in the other ordinances. That basically outlines the operations the process if there's issues on the property with the current operations, and it gives the process of appearing before the village board if there's code violations regarding the special use.
Okay.
Otherwise, the proposal generally complies with all these zoning and comprehensive plan regulations that we have. And I'm open to questions from the Planning and Zoning Commission. I will also mention you should have received the findings of fact that are at your seats, and you can go through them. Happy to answer any questions on those. But I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to the board members, is there anyone from the public who would like to come forward and comment or ask questions regarding this issue? Seeing none, we'll go then to the commission. Commissioner Lynn, would you like to start?
Yeah. Scott, does the structure go through the building department for review?
So anything temporary in nature, so like hoop structures, tents, temporary fencing, there's a separate permit for that is reviewed normally when it's not part of a special use. It's reviewed by the fire department and then the building department.
So sorry, can you say part of that again? So
It'll be reviewed, any permit, the yearly permit that gets reviewed is reviewed by the fire department and building department, and then usually we have a planner that reviews it if there's a special use attached to it.
To the applicant, like, do you know how is the structure? Is it anchored to the ground?
Yeah, so every 6 feet, there's a stake which goes in to attach each bow into the ground, and they go in 18 inches or 2 feet or something like that. These greenhouses are meant to be left up year-round, and when we first started doing this, we have some greenhouses in Michigan which have been up for years, and we just decided to use that same type. So these are greenhouses which are very stable. Every 6 foot, there's a stake that goes in the ground. It should say it on the greenhouse blueprint, exactly how far they go in. But, we've been doing this for years at a few different sites, and we've never had a problem, thank God. So they're very stable, and, it's a structure which is not flimsy and sustains itself during wind, even strong wind. So,
Yeah. Is it a pre-engineered system?
yes.
Yeah. And then
Well, it's 2 bows which attach, and then there's a coupling, and then the stake goes into the ground from that coupling, and they're all bolted multiple times together, and then has purlins going down the line several different times.
but
We have that.
The document is in your packet. Is difficult to read.
Sorry.
It's been copied many times from previous seasonal tent.
I could provide a bigger blueprint if that was necessary. But it's exactly the same type of greenhouse that we've been using in the retail site. So it will be installed just the same way as that one has been installed for 25 years.
yeah, sometimes some systems like that might come like pre-engineered or that are yeah, is it a company that installs it?
No, we install it ourselves. Yeah, it's a company, we buy them from a company called Keeler Glasgow Greenhouses in Michigan. And they're, a mid-sized company that provides greenhouses to the growers who are around Kalamazoo and southwestern and central Michigan. They've been going for years. So we have bought the parts from them, and this is a greenhouse which we've used in the past, and we've kind of take it down and put it up again. So, it stood the test of time. But it doesn't come in like sections where we're putting up like a wall, if that's what you mean by pre-engineered. But it's a pipe, a bow, and bow attaches on the top, several bolts, comes down, coupling, bolt, and then it goes into the ground, pounded into the ground, and then it slips over there with 2 bolts attaching that also. It's quite substantial. More substantial, there's another company called Polytex, which OSCO uses, and we've tried that in the past too, and they're great, but this is a solid, so that's why we've been using this. If you'd like, I could send the full-size blueprint to you so you can get a sense of it better than this copied little one.
Let me see. I would normally think it's like the responsibility of the building department to review such drawings in order to prove them. Now, if it's so now as a building commissioner,
I'm sorry.
yeah, as a planning and zoning commissioner, yeah, I could look at drawings, but whether I say they're good or not, that doesn't matter so
Yeah,
much. So
each year in order to get our permit, we've submitted the plan and they've reviewed that blueprint. I used to always bring in the giant one that was full scale. And then, I don't know, I think during COVID or something that you guys said just email it over. And that's I've just been providing the smaller one via email, I think, in the past. But it's the same structure, type of structure we've been using for years. Quite solid and substantial.
and Scott, is there any regulations about the electric that runs on the ground?
Nothing for zoning purposes. We did talk with the Fire Prevention Bureau regarding it. They want to make sure it's secured at least. And I believe it doesn't need to be covered, only since it's not in a parking lot or a walkable area. But that is also reviewed and inspected, I believe, by the Fire Prevention Bureau, and maybe the building department goes out there as well. But that's my understanding.
When we were talking with Anil Berkowitz, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he said he would like to come out there and take a look at how it's laid out, and he would make any suggestions to change it if necessary.
Yeah, actually, is the structure inspected afterward?
Say that one more time, sorry.
Sorry, Scott. I know I'm pinning you a lot, but does the building department inspect the structure after it's installed?
I believe so. For 10 permits, I believe they go out there.
They have come out and taken a look at it always, yeah.
All right, and then the only other thing that comes to mind, although this even more so is not part of our planning and zoning, is just say like insurance for employees going to an adjacent property but not the same property.
So our employees are not doing the deliveries. They do not go from one space to another. I mean, we have a comprehensive policy, which I don't know if I gave you a copy, if it's the same one we've been using for years. I know Westmont requires.
We require, I believe it's an insurance document when they submit for the 10 permit. That is signed off, usually by the owner, I believe, as well. I believe you're speaking to the 2 facilities walking between.
Oh, you mean walking between?
I don't know if it's. I'm not an insurance person. I just know that there's like say general liability insurance and different types of insurance. And so for your employees to be going like that, because your business where this structure is going is not necessarily your business address. It's the adjacent address, right?
Okay.
Or
I don't know. I mean,
We would require with the 10 permit when they come in every year. In this case, we would require it with each property, I believe. It'd be housed under the same permit. So there'd be somebody reviewing it to make sure that it's applicable.
so we'd list both addresses at that site? Okay.
This year you'll probably do one because you already submitted the one, but yeah.
Okay, okay.
Anyway, those are just 3 points that come to mind. Is like, one is how is it being, is it secure to the ground? If it's being inspected, then, like if the building department's inspecting it, then I trust them to take care of like their field. And then likewise for the electric running to it, I mean, if that's okay to the building department, then I guess that's fine. And then it was I was just curious about the insurance. I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but just for your own sake.
Okay, thank you.
For employees
Yeah.
that get injured or something.
I was considering it as one entity, but if it is 2 separate addresses or something like that, I'm sure I could just tell the insurance company that, and they would make a recommendation because they would want it to be correct. So that's a good idea. I never thought of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Charleston.
As a regular customer, we live in the area, and we're always, we tend to show up there a couple times a season.
Thank you.
My only question is on the new structure, and then, given that it's in the back,
Yeah.
and given that what you're describing is more sort of commercial traffic that comes in and leaves it, the aisle driveways, to the north are a little bit tight. I would assume that you would instruct trucks and other vehicles that are coming to the back to ingress and egress off Washington.
Yeah, they come off Washington.
And use the traffic light
Definitely.
exclusively.
Yeah, that's been a long-standing instruction because it's just too tight to come down that
Yeah.
drive aisle, make the turn in front of the parking, and there are too many people around. So yes, we always mention Washington Street as the ingress and egress because it's just wide open. That's a good idea, thank you.
That was really all I had.
Thanks.
Commissioner Simpson.
Been there. I think it's a great establishment. Like the fact that you guys are expanding. I think that's going to go great. Love Melrose Peppers. I think that goes great.
Thank you.
I'm a lawyer, but not your lawyer. But workman's comp covers the employee items. So if they're employees, you got to usually have a requirement for workmen. So I don't think you'll have a liability issue. And if you have CGL policies, you got to provide it. I think we're good there. So I'm okay with the liability side.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Mr. Donahue.
I was going to say, between my wife and I, we might be funding this new venture in the back.
Thank you.
My kids love going there, and your employees are really, really nice. They're great with the kids. So
great.
I'm, like Commissioner Simpson said, I think that it's I'm excited to hear that you guys are expanding. I know that for the amount of times that I'm there throughout a season, parking has never been an issue. That lot is always open, especially on that southwest side. I don't see any issues with that or traffic. I would assume that the trucks would enter off Washington. So yeah, congrats on the expansion, and I hope it goes well.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner Thomas.
I'm glad you had to come before us to get a bigger area because you're doing well there, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all your help and support.
And Commissioner Peterson, what say ye?
I say, Jim knows I come there all the time since you opened.
It's the very beginning.
I, love the flowers, and like I say, the employees are great. On the other side of that, it brings people into town, and hoping they go other places and eat and all that. I honestly don't know what I would do all these years without getting all my plants and flowers there. And like I say, I was totally blown away when Scott was telling me, like, DoorDash. I'm not a young person, so I don't, but I think, I just can't imagine doing that. I just can't imagine sitting at my house and, okay, go on my phone and get
It's
get
a
out.
riot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great. I'm glad to see it's growing. And I love Suburbanite, the bowling alley, since I was a kid growing up here. I mean, that was, so it's a win-win situation, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and, 27 years, I kind of thought we had the system down where you didn't have to be coming in every year, but this expansion made that requirement. I did have one question that for staff, that 2 different points in the in the paperwork under fencing and safety measures, fencing and security. One says the fence there in the southwest corner will be a 6-foot cyclone-type fence. Another point, it says 5 feet.
Oh,
Can you confirm?
I think it'll be 6
6 feet
Yeah.
is.
in the back there, yeah.
Look, that would be 6 feet.
I'll mention for zoning purposes, we don't have a requirement in the zoning code for it. There might be some in the building codes or fire codes.
Okay.
If we were to decide it was going to be a 5-foot fence, would that be detrimental?
I wouldn't stop you in the zoning code for zoning purposes. I would have to check with building and
Okay.
fire department.
All right.
Thanks.
Yes, Commissioner Lynn, go.
Sorry. Just another thing came to mind was, what do you plan to store inside the new garden area?
Just plants.
Just plants?
Plants and some soil and same type of thing as over in the other one.
So,
Like, we're not selling fertilizer or any chemicals or anything like that. It's just live plants.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I was wondering if
Yeah.
there was odor issues and things for the neighbors. Okay. No, thank you. I have not been inside your garden facility, but even just hearing everyone else, I now want to check it out.
Thank you. Come on over.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, then Chair would entertain a motion to approve under PZC 005206, this request from Clover's Garden Center, a suburbanite bowl, and the Downers Grove National Trust, a special use permit to operate an outdoor retail sales business that is seasonal outdoor garden center in the B2 General Business District. This would include the conditions in the staff report. The motion?
Motion Simpson?
Motion Simpson to approve.
Second.
Second Donahue. Questions, discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn,
Yes.
Commissioner Donahue,
Yes.
Commissioner Charleston,
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson votes yes, Chairperson Carmichael.
Yes. There you go, sir, it's unanimous. He won't have, will he have to go before the village board?
The village board is scheduled for March 19th.
Okay.
That's
So
okay.
next Thursday.
Thank you very much, all of you. I appreciate your
Yes, sir.
help.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Next agenda item, public hearing PZC 004-2026, request from the Village of Westmont for the properties of 6015 South Cass and 1000 Beneford Lane in Westmont for the following. 1, a comprehensive plan map amendment from general commercial and parks/open space to public, semi-public. Second, zoning ordinance map amendment to rezone the properties from the R3 Single Unit Residence District, the R4 General Residence District, and the C1 Commercial District into the PI Public and Institutional District. Third, a preliminary plan of subdivision to consolidate 4 lots into 1 lot. 4, a zoning ordinance variance to the maximum size, fuel type, and location of an emergency generator. And 5th, major site plan. That major site plan would, of course, include the ability of staff to require and approve modifications to the landscape plan. Is that clear? Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to be here tonight. My name's Tom Frank. I'm the Deputy Chief with the Fire Department. I've got Virgil Vespuso here from Public Works. We're both going to be presenting to you tonight. And then we also have the 2 owners of 845 Design that they'll help us out if we have any further questions. What we're bringing in front of you guys tonight, I want to give you a quick overview of what's been going on with us. We've been at this as a group for almost 2 years now. We are in the process of doing that. We had to develop RFQs to get an architecture firm to help us along with this, look at our existing building and figure out what deficiencies we had and how we had to attack making that building better or getting a new building. So we went ahead and we hired 845 Design. They helped us out with that. It was determined that that building was beyond its useful life. So we went forward to build a new building. In that process, a little less than a year later, we did another hiring round or a interview round where we hired a construction manager. And we went through Leopardo Construction is who we chose to do that with. The process that I want to outline for you guys is we spent many hours deciding on both those firms through interviews, background checks, and we did 20 visits of area firehouses that those firms had worked on, so we could get a general idea of could they do what we were looking for, and what they told us they could do, could they do it? So that was one idea of visiting the firehouses. The other idea was to get ideas for what we wanted our firehouse to look like, what was new out there that we could bring into that firehouse. We also developed a committee of firehouse members that we consult and still consult to find out what we need in the firehouse and how we want to design it. Throughout this whole process for the 2 years, we've come back to the village board. We've met with them several times, and we're looking for them for just to give them updates and for them to provide direction to us. We've also very much tried to get the public involved in the process of what we're doing. So we've held public meetings at the firehouse where we opened it to everybody to come. We've also held private meetings where we invited our neighbors to come and just ask whatever questions they want, get a timeline, get ideas of what's going on with the building. Recently, we've had individual meetings with some neighbors that are right around our property, and we've talked to them about the fence or things that might happen with the detention area. And all those meetings have had positive outcomes, and we don't have any lingering issues with our neighbors right now. So what we're going to do now is talk about what is needed going forward, what we're asking for. So 1, 2, and 3 of our asks are very similar. We have different properties that are zoned different things, so we are going to try to get them all zoned public and institutional district. So that's what we're coming before you guys to ask tonight. We want those 4 lots to become one with one address and one PIN. So here is the comprehensive plan amendment that we're coming to before you before, and you can see that those 4 lots are all zoned differently. And we would like those to be public and institutional. The existing zoning of these parcels is, I'm sorry, I skipped a page. We're requesting a comprehensive plan amendment for the general commercial parks open space to public, semi-public. This is in keeping with the use of the property as the fire station for over 30 years. Our number 2 is our zoning request. Again, they are 4 separate properties zoned differently, and we would like them all to be public and institutional. The existing zoning of these parcels varies between all those different ones, and we want to come under the one use. Being a PI district also permits all safety services as of rights, so there'd be no special use required of that property. This is the plot of survey. Same here, we're just showing you that we want to consolidate all those properties under one PIN number and one address. The lot would encompass the new fire station as well as the existing fuel station and the detention areas. At this time, I'm going to ask Virgil to come up and talk about the generator.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight we're asking you for a variance on the emergency standby
Virgil,
generator.
please speak your name and...
Oh, sorry. Virgil Viscuso. I'm supervisor at Public Works.
Thank you.
We're asking for a variance tonight for the emergency standby generator for the maximum size, fuel type, and location of it. Currently, we're going with a diesel generator. It's more reliable than natural gas. We don't have to depend on anybody delivering it to us. If we ever were to run into a larger disaster, we can always take it out of vehicles and put it into there and still run and operate as an emergency center. So once again, it is a heating and cooling for the community, also a storm shelter. So we have to hold at a minimum about 72 hours of fuel. So that's also one of the concerns. As far as generators, the one that's on there right now is a Caterpillar generator. It's obviously an orangish yellow. There are multiple brands. Right now, currently, we're looking at that one. The Kohler one's white. The Cummins one is like a blue or a red or black. So they're all different colors and various sizes, obviously. The generator has a sound attenuator around it, so there's going to be fencing around the lot. There will be plantings around that fence on our side, and then there will also be planting around the generator itself. So the study says that we're going to be around 70 decibels, which is equivalent to like almost a hair dryer. So the casing around it too is also insulated, so it'll help with the noise and all that. We run the generator on a test for 30 minutes every Tuesday, so there will be some noise obviously every Tuesday. Public Works runs on every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. We run a test, and then we run a full load test on Wednesday. This one would be all done in the same day, so we wouldn't be bothering multiple days. The emergency standby generator dimensions. So we're going for worst case scenario here. Would be 21 feet long, 11 feet high, and 7 feet wide. That's could change if our electrical demands go down. We are still designing all that right now. So once that's finalized, it could come in less than that, which would mean a smaller generator. But currently, we're saying worst case scenario, this is how big it would be. This is a 350 kilowatt generator, so it would power the whole entire firehouse, not just a portion of it, the whole entire thing. Location. So location, we're going to be 25 feet from the north property line and 32 feet of the east property line. The screening will be, it's a 7-foot tall fence, and the screening and the landscape will go around the fence and around the generator. They're putting like the landscaping, they're talking about shade master locust and juniper and arborvitaes and winterberries, so it'll all be hardy stuff that's going to be blocking this generator to reduce all the noise and help with all the neighbors.
You be more specific on the screening around the generator?
With what plants are going to be around it?
Well, okay, you're saying the screening is the vegetation, there's
Correct.
not good, thank you.
Correct.
There's not going to be a fence, a separate.
Not around the generator.
Okay.
It'll be screening with vegetation.
I'll just note that there is a fence at the property lines.
Yes.
Around that corner.
Any questions?
Great. So that brings us to our major site plans that we're looking at changing. And then there's that 7-foot fence that we're talking about. So along the north and the east sides, we would have that 7-foot fence. We'll get into a little later. We'll show you what that fence is going to look like. We are changing the location of the garbage. The garbage stall is on the north side right now. We're going to move it to the east side, more in the middle of our property. And then another thing that we have on there, we're going to have an outdoor patio area that's going to have a covering over it. I want to show you right now as we look at this picture here, and you guys can see it in your stuff, there's some striping along Cass Avenue. That's something that we don't have today, and that's to keep people from parking in front of the firehouse if traffic happens to back up. So that's an increase in what we have from today. This is our landscape plan. The landscape plan was designed between the Village Forester and 845's landscape architectures. And one of the things we're asking for, we're pretty set on what trees we're using and what we're going to do, but we do have some Village Board members that have suggested different things, so we want a little bit of leeway to be able to make some minor adjustments to that. Photometrics, that's going to be real tough for you guys to read, but what I can tell you is we need to be below 5-foot candles at our property line, and we are in all directions below that 5-foot candles. And we've also, all our lighting will be dark sky compliant. Again, this is talking about the fencing, shows you a little bit of what's there. It's going to be 7 foot high, a composite material with horizontal panels of neutral colors. So what you're looking at there is, the top picture is our north elevation with some of the landscaping there, and then the bottom picture is our east elevation, the back of the firehouse. Here's some of the material we're going to use on the outside of the firehouse. The lighter brick is going to be the main part of the building. The darker brick that's in the square there, that is going to be more of the stairway towers, and then a little bit above where the bays are will be that brick. The red is showing what our doors are going to look like, and then that wood grain type panel is going to be some other wall areas that aren't covered by the brick. All right, that's just our west elevation, so the front on cast where you see the 5 bay doors, and we can cruise through these. This is the south elevation, so you're seeing the landscape. This is our public entrance. So this is the south elevation with the handicap parking and some of the landscaping involved there. And those are, where you see the darker, those are our stair towers. So that's what I was talking about with the darker brick. The east elevation that we've seen before, so the back of the firehouse. And again, back to the north elevation with the landscaping and the fencing between us and the neighbors. Parking calculation, the way we derived this, we looked at what our peak demand was. So administration, we had 6 people, fire prevention's 11. Living quarters, at shift change, we have 10 people on shift a day there. And when we do shift change, obviously we end up with 20. But that's a pretty quick period of a half hour, 45 minutes where there's 20 people there. The Fire Prevention Bureau is never 11 at a time. That's our whole Fire Prevention Bureau, and we would have maybe 4 to 5 on a regular basis that are there at the same time. So we've got parking spaces for 49, and at peak times, we would only use up 37 of those. So this is what our floor plan is going to look like. So at the top of the page is the north section. That's our living quarters area. And so you'll have a kitchen, you'll have bedrooms, shower facilities, locker rooms, and that. In the middle is the bay floor where we have all our equipment. Then on the south side of it would be fire prevention, a training room, and that's where our public entrance is at. The second floor that we have, that is going to be fire administration will be on there. And then the basement is mostly storage. We do have a storm shelter that's down there. That's what you see down in the center of that. That's going to be built separately so it can withstand the storms. And at that point, our presentation's over. On to you.
All right, sir, thank you.
Questions.
Staff.
Thank you, Chair. So just to orient everybody to where these properties are, because there are 4 properties involved with this request. 6015 South Cass is where the current fire headquarters is, and the village's fueling station. That is what that address entails. 6101 South Cass includes 2 parcels. Those 2 parcels are detention areas, stormwater detention facilities. And then 1000 Beneford is also a stormwater detention facility that was built to accommodate the subdivision of Beneford that is directly east of this property. But the village now owns that property. The requests tonight from the village, as Tom already noted, this has gone through a lot of process previously. They've gone to a ton of meetings prior to this to pin down what the village wants to spend their money on related to the design and capacity. So they weren't always looking at just this property. They looked at other properties as well, and they determined that this was the best case scenario for them, cost-wise and location. So what related to some of the requests, we have 2 requests that are very similar that I will go through. The first one is the comprehensive plan map amendment. So there's 2 properties that are currently, let me back up for newer commissioners. So we have a comprehensive plan that dictates our not zoning, not regulations, but it's kind of a guiding document. There's a land use plan within that comprehensive plan back in 2013 when it was adopted. That plan dictates land use, which is very similar to zoning. But we look at that land use plan map when rezoning requests are made to make sure it's in line. If it's not in line, they would, any developer would have to make a request to also have a land use plan amendment and a rezoning request so they're in line together. So in this case, we have two properties that are labeled as general commercial, and then we have a property that is has a designation of park/open space, and then we have one that is already public slash semi-public. With the rezoning request, we want to make sure everything's cohesive. So we've asked that they make the fire department makes the request for the land use map amendment, so the properties are all classified as public slash semi-public. So our records are straight. Tagged along with that request is the zoning ordinance map amendment request. So there's 3 different zoning districts related to this project as well. One is R3, one is R4, and one is C1. We have a newly adopted zoning district that we created back in August called the PI district for housing of public and institutional districts that is largely to be scattered across town for institutional uses such as schools, governmental uses, safety services, which is the case here. So with the comprehensive plan map amendment request, if that is approved, then the zoning ordinance map amendment request is in line with the comprehensive plan. Related to that is the preliminary plan of subdivision to consolidate those 4 lots into a single lot. So there will likely be a single address attributed to the whole property and a singular PIN number. It helps when we're getting permits in. It helps with grants when everything's on a single facility. It just cleans up lot lines as well. The preliminary plan doesn't include a lot of what we normally have required when you see a new subdivision take place that is presented for this commission. That's because a lot of the required improvements such as stormwater detention, curbing, is already done on this property. This is more of just reorienting property lines and having some easements put into the property. So those are the requests related to the properties themselves. Then we have a site plan approval request. I'm skipping the variance request right now. I'll come back to it after I get to the site plan. So the zoning ordinance requires that any building over 10,000 square feet, any new building or expansion of a building over 10,000 square feet has to get major site plan approval. We do not exempt government facilities from that because that is a large building and we want to make sure everybody is aware of what's taking place and have their voices heard. So with this request, with major site plan approval, the chair already mentioned that includes 3 other sheets. That is your site plan, your building elevations, so we do tie in the materials used for the building, and then the landscape plan. Tom mentioned that the landscape plan has had some discussions at, I think it was committee 1 or 2 weeks ago, I think it was last week, where they're going to update some of the landscaping, largely on the north side of the property. So staff is requesting that conditions placed on the approval to allow us, the staff, to look at the landscaping if there's any changes and approve it if it meets all the zoning regulations still. So they don't have to come back through to make an amendment. Related to the site plan, the building itself's just over 25,000 square feet, and it will be the headquarters for the South Fire Station. It'll house, as Tom already mentioned, some offices and then also vehicles and some storage as well. The building itself is compliant with the village's commercial design guidelines. So we do have design guidelines on this corridor on Cass Avenue, and they largely fall in line with those regulations, just like a normal commercial project would. Some other improvements that Tom mentioned that I just want to talk about as they're related to some code sections. The first one is parking. So the current on-site parking is being reduced. Current parking on-site is 62 spaces. They're reducing that to 49. They're also installing some permeable pavers in some of the parking stalls to accommodate any additional stormwater runoff from the larger building footprint. And there's also going to be some work on the detention ponds or detention facilities themselves. There are plans for the existing facilities on the east side of the property to be filled in, and then a bigger pit dug to accommodate some of the changes in topography on the east side. And the permeable pavers will also accommodate some of those changes.
Could you say that again or expand on that?
So there are plans for the east side of the property to regrade it, I believe. So if you look
At the south end in the detention area?
directly east of the fuel
Oh, okay, up there.
there is some detention shown there, you can kind of tell. That is planned to be somewhat filled in, and then the larger detention facility will have some changes to accommodate the regrading over there. That is my understanding as a non-engineer.
Okay, thank you.
So related to that, related to the parking itself, the village code does not dictate an exact parking count for safety services or governmental uses. And largely many of the institutional uses that are in the PI district, that are allowable in the PI district. Instead, we rely on the professional firm to provide those numbers to us based on some calculation method. In this case, they're basing on the peak hours, how many people would be in the building at one time, and also on other facilities in the area they've worked on. And staff felt comfortable with the number they provided. And they seem to be in excess of what they think their peak time will accommodate. Related to the fencing, there is a fence being proposed, a new fence being proposed on the perimeter of the property on the north end and the east end of the property. It's going to be a 7-foot composite fence is what's currently proposed. That'll provide screening, which is required by code for the parking lot. We do require parking lot screening when uses abut a residential district, so it'll comply with that. Additionally, at the edges of those fences, we have perimeter landscaping, which is required for the parking areas, and that is in compliance. The landscaping around the building itself is also in compliance with our code regulations. Some other improvements Tom also mentioned that I will touch on that are compliant with our code include the accessory patio and pergola that are proposed on the north side of the property near the generator. The village is also proposing new signage on the building itself, and then they are also proposing moving the current community electronic message board sign south near the fuel pump. The current location isn't great for viewability for trucks coming out of the fire station. It is shown on the site plan and the landscape plan where that new location will be. Signage for institutional uses and governmental operations are exempt from the zoning ordinance strict regulations for design and size. So we didn't take a huge look at the signage itself, but it largely would comply with the commercial regulations if this was a commercial property. And then lastly, I will touch on the emergency generator. So the emergency generator it's required to get a variance. Our current code was largely written in a way for residential properties to have generators. It doesn't neatly accommodate emergency generators of this size, so that's why a variance is being requested here. So the code section dictates fuel type, setback, and size in the zoning ordinance. The fuel type proposed for this generator is diesel fuel. The zoning code only permits natural gas or propane. The setback is also included in that variance request. So the current location of the generator is 55 feet from the side and rear building wall, which exceeds the maximum allowed of 10 feet from a building wall. So Usually you want the generator as close to the building as possible, so it's not getting close to the neighbors. In this case, they have other requirements that they're trying to meet for an emergency generator. And then the size requirement, the proposed size at the highest point is proposed to be 11 feet tall and about 142 square feet in area. The zoning ordinance maximum allowed is 30 square feet in area and 5 feet in height. So it's exceeding that to accommodate the services. I will also mention that although the proposed generators showing at 11 or 10 feet, the topography, the final topography and grading has that shrinking down a bit because it's going to be set into the ground about 2 feet is what they're proposing right now. That can change depending on the needs of the site, but I will just mention that. That is all I have on my end. The findings of fact were provided to you. We can certainly discuss the variance request or anything in the staff report.
Okay, thank you. Now, public's turn. Who'd like to come and address the commission on this issue? Good evening.
My name's Wes Bugie. I live on Bedford Lane. My concern is with the water detention pond. Is that going to remain the same, or are they going to landscape it, or what's their intentions on that water detention?
Get staff to respond to that.
Well, if anybody from the fire department would like to respond first.
All right, oh, good. Tom?
I could just like expand on what...
And get to the microphone so the public can hear this.
I know.
Okay, come on.
I can just expand on what Scott was saying. The retention pond kind of looks like a comma. It's a circle and then it comes off to the side on the east side. That east side, that's going to be filled in a little bit. So the two neighbors that back right up to that section, their property is there and they're gaining a little bit more room on their property. And they're going to dig the rest of the retention pond a little bit deeper to compensate for that section being filled in a little bit. But your question is more about...
Well, my neighbor is 936, so that's just north of the detention pond.
Okay. There shouldn't be any changes there. If it's just north of there,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be any changes there.
Okay. Okay.
Other than that section being filled in, but if he's just north of where the pond is, then we shouldn't have any...
North, yeah.
Yeah. And we spoke to the neighbor, it was probably his direct neighbor that little small little comma section ends up in, and he's happy to have that section filled in and gain a little bit more space.
Yeah, okay. Ask another question?
Certainly.
Who's paying for the new fire station? Through our taxes or what?
Well, that's not a question that the zoning commission is, I don't think we can even address that kind
Yeah,
of.
it is generally outside the scope of the commission. If Tom does want to speak on it, he can provide some additional info on it. But for the commissioner's purposes, it's out of the purview. It's a village board discussion topic.
Okay.
Sure, I can provide a little bit. Not the finance director, but the village is issuing bonds, and those bonds are going to be paid for by a half % increase in sales tax. That's already been approved and it's already taking place, so funds are already coming in through that. So there is no tax increase, just the sales tax.
Okay. I think I'm finished.
All right, well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for me being able to address you. My name is Ruben Romero. I'm a neighbor of his. And I was wondering about those retaining ponds, because my property backs to both of them and to one of them on the side. And I just wondered if you're not going to build anything, just leaving it as a pond, retaining pond? That's what you're going to do?
Can I ask you just to point to which property you're
Okay,
referring
I'm the
to?
last one here.
Here?
Yeah, this is a retaining pond, right?
Correct.
And this is the other townhouses.
Correct.
So I got a retaining pond on the side and back to my house.
Where's the other?
Right.
My property, I mean.
It's going to be
So
Here?
that part of the retention pond isn't being touched. It's the small section that's right here.
Okay.
That would get filled in.
Filled in?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you're gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I needed to find out. Like I said, I've been here a while, and this is the first time come to ask us what you're doing, you know? But I appreciate your time and effort. Thank you very much.
Really, we appreciate your coming in and speaking up.
Thank you.
And I guess on that subject, that I'm not clear myself on how the new fence going, what is going to be the south end of the new fence, how that relates to that east pond, the southeast.
Yeah,
It's going to be all on the outside of that. There's currently a small open fence on the east side of that pond.
You got it?
Gabe, can you put up the PowerPoint, please? Thank you.
So I could help Tom out a little bit with this. I spoke with our engineer, and where Tom's proposing right here, these two properties, there's a slight retention pond that drains into the bigger retention pond. What they want to do is they want to level it out a little bit, so the back end of their properties kind of dip down where this fence is going to go. What we want to do is we want to bring their property back up so that they're having a little bit more yard, it's a little bit more flat, and then we will dig out the, what they're proposing is we're going to dig out the retention pond a little bit deeper. So that's what they're kind of explaining.
Oh, okay, thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who'd like to, good evening.
My name's Laurel Rugen. I live at 513 North Grant, and I'm going back to the retention pond issue. I'm curious about the larger one on the south side. How much of that is going to be filled in, or is it going to be taken away, or just leaving a small amount of it? I'm just curious.
No, the only spot that we're taking away, like Virgil said, is
Is the
just
one
that
to
little
the
small
east.
comma to, yes.
It's kind of hard to read these. So
Right.
This is going to be the part that we're going to change a
That's
little
where
bit.
I'm gonna for it, okay.
Yeah.
This is the larger one
Right.
that will not be touched.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't say touched, they're gonna dig it a little deeper.
To accommodate from losing that small section.
All right, I just wanted to clarify, to see what's going on, so thank you very much.
Certainly, thank you. I see no one else, so we'll move to the commissioners. Commissioner Lynn, you want to start?
Yeah. There's a couple things I'm a bit confused by.
Okay.
So why a diesel generator, not a gas generator?
So the diesel generator is actually cheaper. The natural gas is, the fuel for it is about, what did we say here? It's approximately 3 times more expensive for fuel versus diesel, what we pay for it. And the lead times on the natural gas one are, do we have a time frame, or is it just a lot longer? It's almost like double, 3 times longer. It was a 3 times longer lead time on the natural gas versus the diesel generator. Diesel generators are probably almost about a year out. So we're talking about 3 years before we'd even remotely get the natural gas one in.
Let me see. How do you deal with the emissions from either type?
So everything now is Tier 4 with all their diesel generators and everything. So that's all contained through the exhaust and all that.
But where is the exhaust emitted?
Oh, it's straight up.
At the generator?
Yes.
Right. There's no other.
It's not pointing in any other direction. It goes straight up.
Up and out. Okay. And then, yeah, I thought, yeah, okay. So, and then, did you say that how frequent is it ran?
It's ran for 30 minutes every week.
Once a week? Is there like a certain time of the day?
It's 10 a.m. So we could set that schedule in-house. So we usually run everything at 10 a.m. It'll go in and it'll run for 30 minutes, and then we'll get a printout of what's going on with it.
Yeah. What did you say about the sound from it?
So the sound attenuating to 70 decibels around it.
Okay. Do you have an equivalent of what 70 decibels comes out to?
Equivalent to a hairdryer.
Really?
Yeah.
If I can just add one thing, this zoning district also has to abide by the village's performance standards, which include a lot of those regulations. So if anything's out of those, if we get complaints, we'll have to work on fixing it as a village.
Yeah, but if the fix is to get a different generator, that's not going to happen, right? So how about the subdivision that you're backing up to? Like a lot of subdivisions have covenants. Is there? I know that your property is not doesn't have to abide by that covenants, but is there? Let me see. Is there any, like, do they have their own separate generator, like, covenants and things that, like, it would almost be, I guess you don't have to abide by it, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it's separate. They're separate subdivisions generally.
Right.
I will mention that Beneford never developed an HOA formally. That's part of the reason the village acquired the detention area for Beneford to take on the responsibility of upkeep. So I'm not aware of any within the Beneford subdivision itself, any covenants related to it, or anything recorded against property for those properties. And if anybody on those streets came in for a generator, they'd have to abide by the residential generator regulations.
Thank you. What's the distance between the generator and the property lines? Looking at it, it looks like 15 foot on one direction, 20 foot by another.
It's 25 feet from the north property line, and then it's 32 feet from the east property line.
Looking at your drawing, it looks like it's just a bit over 20 foot from the east property line. Like, and because there's even a dashed line that says 20 foot rear yard setback, and it lines up almost with that. So I almost find it hard to see that as 30 feet, or 35 feet.
As we look at that a little bit further, I would like to point out that the site currently has a generator that is closer to the east-north property line than we have here.
And the current generator is what fuel type?
I'm not sure of that. Virgil will know that. Current generator, what fuel type is that?
Current generator right now is natural gas.
Right. And that's why I was kind of puzzled with between diesel or natural gas, because natural gas is piped, right? So you don't, but diesel is not. You'd have to bring it in.
Correct. So in a disaster or an emergency type atmosphere, if something were to happen, we get cut off. So if we have a natural disaster and they lose a main gas line, then we get no fuel, that generator doesn't turn on. If we're on diesel, we can get deliveries, we can get trucks over there, we can even take it out of our own trucks if we have to.
Yeah, I don't. How many? Like, yeah, I don't know how long it would take off of like a few gallons of diesel, like that big generator. But okay. And anyway, that's my generator questions. I do have questions with the stormwater. I understand that it's kind of the village's goal, and it does make sense to a degree to consolidate lots that are, especially if there's funny parcels, to kind of put them all together. But I was always under the impression that, say, different districts were different governing, like different like entities. So say the school district is a separate type of system, that like ownership than the village, and the village was separate from the fire department and whatnot. So is it that we're transferring property from the village to the fire department? And
in this case, the fire department's a part of the village. Some are separate districts, but
it is wholly part of the village.
Yeah, it's just a department of the village, just like we have a police department, have a public works department, have a community development department. It's not a separate taxing body.
Got it.
There are fire protection districts which would fall like that, separate taxing body.
Right. I've seen ones that are like county and
Yes.
a township and stuff. Okay. All right. And then, let me see. So yeah, there's no change in ownership, right? There's no change in ownership in a sense? Okay. And then maybe what's the benefit to, I guess it's all under the village's ownership then? That does make more sense to me. As like, I almost was wondering, why does the fire department want a retention pond? Why not just keep, I could understand consolidating maybe those 3 lots on a row, but why combine it with the fire department that in the future there may be issues, or you might want to change the depth and whatever, the design of that retention pond to do something different with it. So is there any other reason why, besides just consolidating for cleanliness, is there any other reason that the fire department wants, like, the retention ponds?
So it's
On the same-
mostly at staff's direction to consolidate all those, but I can tell you, even today, and will be in the future, we use the retention pond for training, either slope evacuation sometimes, but also when we're using our aerial ladder or we're using fire hoses, that's where that water ends up going. So it's good for us to have it right on our south end.
Okay. After you level that lot that goes up to the Benenford, what happened, like, it's not being used as retention pond, or, like, I would think now you could almost sell it as something different, like, but I don't know what the depth is of that retention pond, but you could almost turn it into a residential lot again, right? I mean,
The Beneford property
Right.
is going to be retained for the detention facilities, stormwater facilities, yes.
I thought for a second, I overheard that.
There's just an adjustment to some of the detention area near the property lines of the neighboring Beneford properties. But the detention pond largely is being kept where it is on the Beneford property. And there's no proposed like access to Beneford from this facility.
Okay.
Vehicular access.
How long can the diesel generator run on a full tank?
72 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Charleston.
Thank you. I'm going to take advantage of my status as the newest board member here, and I'm going to, at this moment, feel free to ask probably some silly questions, so I hope you'll indulge me. I certainly don't have an issue with the change in the comprehensive plan. I will follow up on the consolidation, which, again, intuitively, it makes sense to me to consolidate the 3 CAS units. The 1,000 Beneford, even though it is sort of a contiguous little detention pond to the southernmost, the larger detention pond, it would seem to me that you could retain that pin, right, and rezone, but at some point, because by consolidating it into a single pin, you will have forever and in perpetuity place that lot into a pin that if you ever wanted to do something with that lot in the context of the neighboring uses, you largely would have to separate the pin again and create all the changes. So it's very much, it feels like by consolidating that 1,000 Beneford things, it's sort of like getting a tattoo. You know, it's going to be a heck of a thing to remove. But I understand staff recommended it that way, mostly as a matter of, is that more of a matter of administrative convenience as opposed to?
Yeah, it's part of that. And if there was any plans in the future from Public Works to incorporate a larger detention area, combine the two, whatever it may be, they have the ability to.
Do you need all of that water detention in that location right now?
I'm not an engineer, so I can't answer the question outright. My understanding is a bulk of the detention that is on the 63rd, on the Cass Avenue side, helps with regional detention in the area, including the 63rd and Cass development. Yeah. A bulk of that comes into that detention pond. And then the one at Beneford is largely just for the subdivision of Beneford when it was created.
But that detention pond flows into the
Correct.
detention pond on
Yes.
On Cass, okay.
So
So Beneford flows into, because as I drove by it today, like, it almost looked like there was a berm between the two or
Yes.
whatever, right?
So they're connected in a way. That is part of the reason we would recommend a consolidation.
Got it. Got it.
Can I do a quick point of information on this? On page 3 of our packet that shows 1000 Beneford, is this the area, is this the pin that Commissioner Charleston is referencing? I just want to make sure I'm looking at this correctly.
Correct.
It's already dug down.
Yes.
And it's already got
Yes.
multiple levels. Okay.
It was a detention pond built for the subdivision.
For the subdivision, yes.
And the burden fell on one homeowner to maintain it.
Yeah.
And that homeowner was unable to maintain it. It was expensive, it was in disrepair. The village took it over, and it flows into the adjacent detention pond that the village owns and maintains.
So, but I would imagine that the reason that detention pond was created at the time of the development of the Beneford properties was because that the detention pond on the Cass, the large south, that didn't exist at the time. That was all flat dirt kind of lot. And it was only several years ago that we created this larger pond, because candidly, had the Beneford developer had the benefit of that pond there before, he probably would have developed that into a home.
Perhaps.
You know. In any case, it strikes me as interesting. I'm certainly not going to object to it, but it struck me as interesting. And so, one little nit, Scott, on the major site plan in the first paragraph, you mentioned the construction of a new 25,158 square foot fire station. I think it's actually 35,504. I think it's a 25,158 footprint.
Footprint, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then to probably obviously the variance. So I drove by the fire station today, and I saw the existing generator, which is just off, as you point out, the north side, kind of northeast, because the code requires that an extension is like within 5 feet of the building and all that. And so, quick questions about that generator, other than the fact that it's natural gas. Is that with its natural gas, is it considered 72 hours, or is it considered in perpetuity as a generator? And how much does it cover that entire 15,000 square foot building? Tell me just out of curiosity about the existing generator.
So that current generator could run, if we were uninterrupted, could run
In perpetuity, yeah.
forever.
So long as you had gas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it does not, it only supports the north base, doesn't it? It doesn't
Correct.
support the
It does
admin
not-
building.
It does not support the whole building.
Okay.
I believe it's like just under 70 kVW or KW. So I mean, it's
70 kilowatts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very small. There's no screening around it.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're right by a fence line, and you're sort of buried in the back there.
yeah, and I know from working on it personally that it is really loud. Really loud.
Yeah, like I said, obviously, the difference between the new one and that existing one is going to be stark in terms of just size, right?
Correct.
And in terms of the sound attenuation at 70, in the write-up, I think the reference to what 70 decibels was a vacuum cleaner, which my first thought when I read that line was, interestingly, my wife has a Kirby vacuum cleaner. It's loud as hell. And so, but 70 decibels is it's annoying, but it's not horrible, right?
So we currently have a big generator at Public Works, and it has about 4 inches of foam on the inside doors that wrap around the whole entire unit.
Yeah.
You have a conversation with somebody when the doors are closed. When they're open, there's not a chance.
Yeah.
But when the doors are closed, you can have a conversation with somebody.
So my own, if you have to go, and it would be great if your electric usage was such that you could go to a smaller generator. But assuming that that's not the case and that you're going to use this larger one, the 11-foot height, even if the grade goes down 2 feet, that means that the generator pokes up about 9 feet in the air. And our fence line is 7 feet. That means that the generator pokes up above that fence line about 2 feet around that northeast corner. So I guess my question would be, and maybe this is a design question as much as it is an engineering question, but I would think that you would, for the sake of the neighbors at Beneford, you would want to obscure the top of that generator, and you could raise the fence line in that northeast corner such that the generator is obscured to the neighbors, because that to me feels like an aesthetic, if nothing else, an aesthetic that would, because, yeah, there you go.
Jamie Zara with 845.
Hi,
We
very-
could do that, but we need a variation because we're only allowed to have a 7-foot tall fence.
Okay,
So we'd be back for that.
okay.
That's what our landscaping plan is
Okay.
to cover it with the landscaping.
Yeah, like I said, it just feels like if I'm the neighbor who looks out at the back, right, I see the top of that generator and I hear it when it runs. And not only would raising that fence line just at that corner, right, just at that corner, it would not only aesthetically please me, it might actually attenuate additional sound. So just I'll throw that out as a thought for staff and for design team and for the engineering and construction team as well. By the way, I really appreciate your work, 845, and I think the world of Leopardo as well. They're a great contractor, and so we're excited to see that they're going to be working on it.
Thank you.
Scott, just to interrupt, is there, I know there's a discussion about modifications to landscaping. Is there enhanced landscaping behind where the generator is located, along the fence line there?
We currently have, I believe in the landscape plan, it might be shown on the screen actually. Right now, there's landscaping proposed around the immediately adjacent to the generator, but not at the perimeter to the north, along that fence line.
And I guess how tall will that landscaping?
That is up for discussion depending on what the changes are in the future. I can tell you, speaking with Public Works, that the plan is to have larger landscaping there.
Like
taller.
arborvitae or something like
Yes,
that?
so it peaks over the fence.
So I guess I raise that because Commissioner to answer or address perhaps your concern about having a taller fence.
Yeah.
One way to avoid a taller fence and having to come back for a variance for the applicant would be revise their landscape plan to have, for example, taller arborvitae or something that provides year-round screening.
Yeah. Those die, though. Fences don't die. So.
Well, there's always a requirement that landscaping that's shown on a landscape plan has to be continuously maintained, repaired, replaced as necessary.
That's great. Okay. Like I said, I'm new, so I'm learning all this, and I appreciate those answers. With that said, it's great to see the project. It's going to be I think a really great addition to that particular stretch of Cass and to that retail area and that commercial area. I'm excited about the project and to the extent that the Beneford neighbors have been that their concerns have been addressed. That's even better. And so with that, I'll be done.
Thank you. Commissioner Simpson.
Chief, I love the presentation. Just a few questions, or buildings, it might go both. The current generator, what's the decibel level when it gets tested every Tuesday? So is it replacing it with the same is what I'm trying to figure out? Is it 70 decibels and you're going to do a diesel at 70?
This one's going to be well above 100. We had it tested probably, when did we come around? Maybe 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
But we have not tested it since, and it was right around 100, if not above.
Okay, so, got it, that changed what I thought. So the natural gas one doesn't have to get tested on a monthly basis like the other one, but when it does get tested,
No.
it's louder.
So it does get tested, when does it run?
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday it runs at 10 o'clock. It'll run for 30 minutes, but it is significantly louder than what we're recommending.
Got it, okay.
But the sound itself isn't tested. It's just tested to make sure it runs and it kicks over and does all that.
Got it, but it's going lower. The decibel level will be lower with the diesel-powered one.
Significantly, yeah.
Okay. You had mentioned it, you threw me off, I didn't think of this, but if this is used in case of a disaster situation, are you talking more, is it both, I guess, dual mission? Is it for weather-related disasters, or are you talking as if though there was a terrorism-related
It could be
disaster?
either way.
Okay.
If for some reason the natural gas line gets disrupted
Sure.
at any point in time,
Then this will be able to
the
go.
building's done right now.
Okay.
Diesel, we're on site.
Okay. The fencing, I see the fuel station in the photos, or the fuel station in the photo. What I can't tell is where's that getting moved to in the proposal?
The fuel station?
Fuel station's not moving.
That will stay.
It's remaining there.
Yes.
It's a little difficult to see in the site plan.
Yeah.
It's kind of shaded down a bit. You can see the outline
Oh, yes, all right.
of the
I see
drive,
it.
yeah.
My apologies. Okay. The fence,
Dumpster is moving down there.
I see it's grayed out there, that's
Believe
why,
me, I would
okay.
have moved the fuel station if we could.
Hey,
I couldn't, the reason why I'm asking, I'm trying to figure out the fencing. So the fencing is going to be on the north elevations, the east elevations, but at some point it's stopping on the east. Is it stopping once it gets, so are you going to continue the fence line for the area that we're building up so that the neighbors basically have that fence where they don't see the fuel station? Or effectively, where is the fence stopping is what I can't
So
figure out.
the fuel station currently has its own fencing, and that's going to stay in place.
So that would be here, where the cursor is. That's the existing fence. So the new fence would be bordering where the parking is and then on the north side. So we would maintain that existing fence and then put in the new fence on the north and east side.
So I believe,
So that wooden fence is going to stay? Not the open fence, but this solid wooden fence is what's going to
Yes.
remain?
That's the plan for now.
Here, take a look at it.
so this is staying
No.
right here. I'm not talking about this wooden fence, but
That's-
that right
that's
there.
actually a composite fence. Yeah, that would stay.
That would stay, and then the new fence would be to the north of that?
Yeah, it would butt up to it and then
Okay.
continue going on it.
That's more design related, but is it our fence or is it the neighbor's fence?
That's our fence.
Okay.
The fuel fence, yes.
Yeah, I just didn't, if you're doing it, I just didn't, doesn't make sense to go all the way down, but that was just the only question I had on that.
And just for the village code purposes, the zoning ordinance purposes, the fence is only required to screen the parking area.
Sure.
So technically, that is the only zoning requirement for the fence.
But what I'm trying to understand is we're building, maybe I misunderstood this, but we're building that area up, right? That's coming up 2 feet, so
The south portion is actually being dug deeper, where that detention is, to compensate for the area that we're filling in.
right, so here and then right here is getting dug, right? The big part. But I guess where I could see this blue house, that's the part that I understood to be getting lifted. Am I correct on that?
Well, I can maybe show you better here. So this is your detention pond, right? This dotted line? This area right here is going to get dug in, and this is part of our fence right here.
There's nothing here.
No,
Got
then
it.
the fuel station has its own fence there.
Understood, okay. And just that blue house, is that here?
I cannot tell from that picture where the blue house is at.
Got it. Scott, would you be able to tell? On page 3, the blue house? I'm trying to understand what's getting fenced and what's not.
It looks like it's the fourth lot north.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, because our fence is going to come to here,
Yeah.
right?
Where
would
is
you guys mind-
where
would
is
you
it
guys-
from the driveway?
So,
Mind using the projector so we could see what you're
Yes, it would-
looking at?
So I misspoke. That blue house is right next to that might be the property owner that's here tonight. I believe that might be his house. I believe it's adjacent to the detention area. I think it's this one. Oh, it's matched.
The blue house is 936.
Yeah.
What's that?
The house we're talking about is well past that, the fence for the guest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's well south of.
so it's just the angle that
Yeah,
this
I believe
photo's
so.
taken of. It's coming
It gets
like-
a little warped
it's
with the view.
northeast.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what wasn't making sense. Like, the fence can't be blocking it if it's straight east, but I understand what you're saying.
If you go to page 1 and just reference this from the driveway coming in off Cass, it's straight east-west.
Is that what you're looking for?
Right.
So yeah, if you look like here, like now I'm pointing my finger there.
Yeah.
That's the fence for the fueling station.
Got it.
Our fence, if you go up this way, is going to stop up here.
Okay. Got it.
Did you guys get a good visual? What's
You're not replacing the old wooden fence.
For the gas pump area, no, that's staying put.
So it's actually,
Below there, south of that.
so it's actually a composite metal fence. So it's got composite middle sections and it's traced out in metal. So it has the old weathered look, but it's actually a new fence.
And I will mention that existing fence that's there for the fuel station is required per the special use for the fuel station itself when it was originally approved.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to make sure I'm not going in the design element. I'm talking more about the entitlement. But if they're redoing, if they were to just continue that fence, that would still
That would satisfy the
It would still
special use.
satisfy, right? So I'm just thinking from the thought process of why not take down that fence, continue it the whole way, and it be contiguous if you've got this giant open area of detention that's not going to change, and by some of the other commissioners' concerns are going to stay this way in perpetuity. It seems like it's going to be a wide open view as you're driving north or south of Cass, that we're kind of having an old wooden fence and then putting a brand new one set back, and the neighbors' views are going to be the same. I just was curious why, if that's come in, maybe.
I mean, really, it's cost. I mean,
Okay.
we could do it, but I think we were just, since that fence was acceptable, we were just going to leave it. But if it's a condition that you decide to put on the project, we could extend it south.
I think it's past the purview really on zoning, so I think it's just more or less something to bring up to city council, or village board, sorry. But otherwise, I understand it. You answered, I was more thinking, was it a terrorism thing, and that's why you were concerned on it. So other than that, you gotta do what you gotta do, and if it's quieter, that was my biggest concern, so.
Sorry. Do you have any information about the emissions of the diesel generator versus like a new natural gas one?
Currently, we do not. I can get something once we finalize what size and which one we're actually going to go with.
I just had long heard that natural gas burns cleaner, or that the emissions is not as damaging to people's health.
Well, they're for emergency use, and during an emergency, I don't think emissions are a real consideration.
Yeah, but if it's going to run for a half hour once a week, and if I was an adjacent neighbor of those, there's like 3 or 4 houses on the corner, I would be concerned of what's blowing in my windows.
DC Frank, you guys have a diesel generator currently, right?
It's natural gas.
Oh, it is natural gas.
We do currently have a diesel generator at PD/fire over on 500 North Cass.
Any problems, complaints with that generator?
No. I live right across the street.
And it runs every Tuesday at 10 o'clock, so you would know.
Yeah, I don't hear it, so.
Commissioner, you're asking some of the same questions I asked in some of our meetings. Like, natural gas seemed like smarter to me in an emergency because it's always there. We don't have to think about refilling it. But the village engineers and others came up with great points that if we have an earthquake, that can get interrupted. A terrorist attack, that can get interrupted. We can always refill the diesel part of it. So because it's emergency use, that's why we decided as a group that that's what we wanted to go with.
Yeah, I'm also concerned just the adjacent neighbors and what type of, like, whether they know it or not, like what type of air quality is coming in their windows.
Okay.
So.
Finish, John?
No, I'm sorry, yeah, I was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Connor?
I'd say you also have thousands of cars going up and down Cass all day long in regards to the generator. I've got a generator, mine's kind of loud, obnoxious. It sounds like this huge diesel one would be quieter than the one that I have, just my house. They're annoying until you need them. The diesel, you said one tank runs 72 hours. I'm just curious, are you going to store additional fuel on site? So it's just one tank and that's it, and you'd have to bring trucks in to refuel it?
So currently, right now, at our fueling center, we're on a keep fill basis. We have trucks coming twice a week, once a week, coming to fuel us just for our vehicle trucks.
Got it, yeah.
And with us being such close proximity to that fueling center, we could actually transfer fuel, and we hold about 4,000 gallons of diesel in the ground there. So we would be able to run for a little bit of time.
Got it. The other commissioners asked some of the questions that I had, so I was just curious about the diesel, but that makes sense. Thank you.
Certainly. Mr. Thomas.
My generator question has been answered. If everything goes perfect, when's it all done?
So we were looking at September of '27 if everything goes perfect.
Okay. Good luck.
No, it's going to go perfect.
That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Peterson?
I absolutely positively love this project. I've been aware for years of past issues at the firehouse. The design is beautiful. The fence is great. When everything's consolidated, though, the one address you're gonna keep is 6015. That's the one is not, so that the whole thing will be that. Are you going to reuse your pergola for the new part, or no? The one you have now?
Right. Currently, we are designing a new one, but that old one, we're talking about what we can use that for. So some of the stuff we've talked about is finding a place on site for it, and we have forcible entry doors and other props that are super big that we don't want to necessarily keep in the bay, and we're talking about using that to store those underneath. Keep them a little weatherproof.
Okay. If not, I'm sure Yater could find somewhere to put it. The striping on Cass, why does Westmont not or never had that like other towns do? I know you're going to put it there. Are you going to put it at the bays at 500 North Cass? The other firehouse?
No, I understand what you're saying. So on the south side, it's a little bit unique because there's no stoplight there. So there's not a lot of time that traffic backs up to that section. And it's a county road, so we have to get county to do that, and we have to get them to agree to do that. And I know attempts have been made in the past to do it, and we weren't able to, and I think the main reason was there is no backup there. Like if you look at Downers Grove Station, 55th and Main, that one makes perfect sense because there's always a backup there.
Yeah.
I think you're right. The north side station is something we should look at too, but again, it's a county issue that we have to go through them to get it done.
So if we went to the county, I mean, they would tell us no, or is it just a long, drawn-out trying to deal with the county?
We are working with them now because there's a couple other things that we're asking from them. So it does take longer, but we are trying. So we'll see where it goes.
I was just curious, you know, if you were going to do it at the one, why?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay, and the generator, the diesel gets stored in there. There's not going to be an active line running from the generator to where you get the gate. Okay. But you can, in emergencies, could you run a line from the underground tank there? Or do you have to like pump it out and then?
You would have to pump it out.
And pump it in there.
We would probably pump it into another storage container and transport it to there, something of a higher volume. Like if we had an extreme emergency, we've got watering trucks that could hold 1,000 gallons. I mean, we could move fuel very fast. On site, on that generator platform, there's a 670-gallon tank underneath it.
So once this is put up, that's filled, however, it's filled, and then it just sits there until you need it.
Yeah, so it's basically like your portable generator. It has a tank that's attached to the generator itself.
I don't know anything about generators.
The black portion in the picture
Yeah.
is
That's
the
your
tank.
fuel tank.
Oh, okay. Okay, like I say, I think it's great. I can't wait for it to be finished. I have total faith in the fire department and the street department and our building department and our engineer that everything is going to be done properly and correctly and nicely. So I just can't wait for the grand opening.
We ourselves are super excited about it, and like one of the commissioners said, 845 and Leopardo have been great to work with, and everything we're seeing has had great results, so we just want to get going.
Yep. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. DC Franks, I assume that the new station will keep the same name, the Frank Johanic Station.
Correct.
And you made reference earlier to the new building would be a public disaster shelter. Is that lower level on the south side?
Yeah, so the lower level on the south side, you got it. You got it, you're the expert.
So there is a storm shelter in the basement, and that has a different intention.
So currently, that big room in the basement is also a public shelter?
It's not that big.
Not in the current building.
I didn't think so.
Where is it? Here it is. So, no, here we go. So this room down here is a code requirement in a public building. It's built separately from the rest of the building. So if the whole building collapsed on itself, this would not. It has a separate structure. It's like a concrete box, essentially a fallout shelter is what the code kind of wants it to be. But we do have this training center, and I think that's what Deputy Chief Frank was referring to. Yes. So then this space houses, how many people? 50? 50 people. Would be this space.
And what would be the capacity be of the new proposed?
This would be the new. The new would be 50.
Oh,
yes.
Currently, there is no space in it.
Yes,
right.
there's no space.
Gotcha. Regarding the fencing issue and the generator on the east side of the generator, would it be possible to mount something on the east side of the generator, 2 feet or so, just an additional cover?
I think if we
People are worried about the appearance, as opposed to, okay, we can't raise the fence, could we?
So I just looked up the plantings that are scheduled back there. I'm Megan Hart with 845 Design as
Thank
well.
you.
So they've
So
got.
the plantings, you
The
said?
plantings, they've got arborvitae and juniper called out on our landscape plan that are scheduled to grow 12 to 15 feet high.
12 to 15 feet high.
Right. So I think that might cover the top of it and.
Would it be
dress them
2
up.
layers?
Right. We'll have a layer at the fence line and then we'll have a layer at the generator.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that's all I have, and yeah, this has been quite a project and ongoing, both here and up on 55th and Wilmette, and during your construction. So it seems like there's been some excellent planning and detailed planning. Mr. Yeager, thank you for coming in, and I think at this point, under PZC 004-2026, unless we have any more comments, questions, commissioners, your last chance. Going once?
Just one comment.
Please.
Scott, I apologize if you said it and I missed it, but did you make a comment about the ability of staff to revise the landscaping plans?
Yes. I would like also, if we could add as a condition, staff to update or revise the site plan if needed before village board.
Right.
Or at the time of approval.
We'll include that.
The reason I'm mentioning it is I believe the fence shown on the eastern property line does not match. So I want to make sure once it gets to the village board, we're aware of where the fence will be.
Okay.
I consider where it will be. Okay. Is that shown on the
Where it will end and start.
Is that on the landscape plan or the?
It's on the site plan.
Okay.
Site plan. Okay, under PZC 004-2026, Chair would entertain a motion to approve request from the Village of Westmont for the properties at 6015 South Cass, 6101 South Cass, and 1000 Benenford Lade for first comprehensive plan map amendment from general commercial and parks open space to public, semi-public.
Charleston moves. Simpson second.
Okay, I have the motion Charleston, second Simpson. Questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Donahue?
Yes?
Commissioner Charleston?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes?
Commissioner Peterson votes yes. Commissioner Lynn?
No.
And Chairperson Carmichael.
Yes. Secondly, zoning ordinance map amendment to rezone the properties from the R3 Single Unit Residential District, the R4 General Residential District, and the C1 Commercial District into the PI Public and Institutional District. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion Peterson,
Second?
second Thomas. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Charleston?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes?
Commissioner Peterson votes yes. Commissioner Lynn?
Yes?
Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
And Chairperson Carmichael.
Yes. Third, the preliminary plan of subdivision to consolidate 4 lots into 1 lot. Do I have a Simpson? And do I have a second?
Second, Donahue?
Second Donahue. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes?
Commissioner Peterson votes yes. Commissioner Lynn?
Yes?
Commissioner Donahue?
Yes?
Commissioner Charleston?
Yes.
And Chairperson Carmichael.
Yes. Fourth, zoning ordinance variance to the max size, fuel type, and location of an emergency generator.
So move.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes?
Commissioner Peterson votes yes. Commissioner Lynn?
No. No.
Commissioner Donahue?
Yes.
Commissioner Charleston?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Chairperson Carmichael?
Yes. And finally, a major site plan, including the ability of staff to require and approve modifications to the landscape plan
And the site plan
and the site plan.
regarding the fence.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Wait, just inquiry, and that's prior to or at the time of a board vote, right? So it'll always be back in front of the board at least.
Prior to the village board vote.
Just, we'll,
The landscaping might be after, right?
yeah, so when it goes to the village board, we will clarify what is to be done.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion Simpson.
Motion Simpson,
Second.
second Donahue. I was looking that direction.
It's okay.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Peterson votes yes. Commissioner Lynn?
Yes? Yes?
Commissioner Donahue?
Yes?
Commissioner Charleston?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes?
And Chairperson Carmichael.
Yes. Okay, well, there you have it, gentlemen. Staff will tell you when you're scheduled to go before the village board. Good luck with the project, and thanks for your hard work.
For the 2 residents in the audience, it's scheduled for next week on Thursday to go to the village board, March 19th at 6 o'clock in the same room.
Yes. And thank you, gentlemen, for coming in.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item is open forum. And this is the public comment rules, procedures set forth Chapter 2 of Section 266 of the Village Code. Anyone present who'd like to comment for any matters of public concern that are not on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to miscellaneous. Anybody have anything? Scott, you look
I
like...
do. General updates, our next scheduled planning and zoning meeting is April 8th, 2026 at 6 o'clock in the same room. We might have a lighter agenda for that one, or no cases, just a heads up. You'll be notified if there's a cancellation of any meeting, though.
Did you comment on the commissioner training that you've been
Yes.
talking about the last couple of months?
So you may have to confirm budgetary purposes, but we may have an opportunity for a virtual training for commissioners. It would be on the same day as that meeting. So we'll see, depending on if we have anything on that meeting agenda or not. Again, you will get an email if there's anything that we can aid with. Payment is through the APA chapter, Illinois chapter. We would love at some point to have APA to come in and do formal training with the commissioners. It's a bit difficult to schedule sometimes, but we now have a full commission, so we like to have formal training at that point. So just a heads up. And then my last update is everybody should have received an email from IT for security training. It takes 15 minutes, and it needs to be completed, I believe, on March 21st.
Has anyone done it?
You
Okay,
better have.
see, we got a head start.
First one.
Scared straight. I'm scared straight now.
That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, anybody, anything else? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion Simpson,
Second?
second Charleston.
Want to stay?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
7:56.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.